buddy. The tired doth proclaim. The tired doth proclaim, buddy. Do that. Maybe I'll sit that there because it does like that. Or maybe I'll sit it in this one because I'm left-handed. And it's tea and I just need to be able to. Why does this one don't like this one leans? It don't lean over there in the other one. This will make me feel like it's gonna fall out. Nobody wants the tea to fall out. Let's see. I just don't know if I just want it there leaning. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. All right, all right, all right. I guess I better take a sip of water before I start talking to, not just tea. All right, all right, all right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, 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 you guys. It is Sylvie414, and I is Sylvie, your rough edge lady. Just coming to bring you some of that balance, that one in the middle, just to try and see things from another perspective. Not to agree, but maybe to agree to disagree. You see things this way, and they see things this way. If we learn how to have effective communication, we can communicate and it's not always going to be effective. And in that, nothing gets done. If we have some effective communication going on, we can get some things and some stuff done. Like, even if we don't particularly like one another, I'm always going to go back to Willie D and Bushwick Bill. Like when I found out that I didn't know that they didn't like one another, they couldn't stand one another, and yet they made all of that great music. That part, that balance, that one in the middle. I hope y'all have had a wonderful day. Look, y'all, I'm up here later today than I've been all week. Well, one thing for sure, two things for certain. This is what your girl can say. Only day she missed was New Year's. I ain't even listened to no music before I got up here because it was taking everything in me to prepare to get up here because, whew, buddy, see, it's about going on 12 o'clock. I think the latest that I had been up here was 9. I think last night I even got up here before 9. I was on Facebook last night. I do it on Facebook one night, do it on YouTube one night. So the YouTube night has been a little late. I think the other night when I did it on Facebook, on YouTube, or was that when I did it on YouTube? It was one night I got up here by 6. I was up here by 6, just a little bit after 6, and I was excited because that's the time that I have scheduled in my phone. I have a 6 o'clock alarm that goes off that says go live. So I was up there close to 6 o'clock, so I was excited about that. Look, y'all, I'm still becoming consistent. Please bear with me. I appreciate the mess out of all of y'all because, like I said, I see what my engagement is doing, and that's what the God has told me to pay attention to, not likes and views and all of that stuff like that, but to engage daily. That was my instruction. That was my most recent. I've been given instruction along the way, but my most recent instruction was engage daily. So that's what I have been making every attempt to do since I have been in this place, engaged daily. I would run into that library before I got internet, trying to engage daily. Whew, and that was really, really much harder. And I need to go to the library because both Facebook and YouTube are asking for like an intro video, like a video that I can make where people can go and watch just to see what the platforms are all about, what the platform is all about. And I actually have a few videos in my phone that I want to I'm gonna mesh together to make it the intro video. But I am going to have to go to the library to do that because that's one of the things that you're not able to do from YouTube Studio. I don't know if I can create the one in Facebook with my phone, but YouTube Studio from my phone is not going to allow me to do it. So I need to be sitting in front of a desktop when I create that video. But the goal is to create that video for both platforms in the upcoming week. I'm not able to go live on TikTok, so they're not doing anything like that, but excuse me, I am watching my engagement on TikTok and Instagram. And with Instagram, it's a slow creep. Instagram, my followers, they follow me on Instagram much quicker than they do on TikTok and YouTube. Howsoever, I think that my followers on Instagram, this is not a bragging tactic. I think my followers on Instagram are more aesthetic. They are more following me because of the way I look, more so than my content. And I'm not saying that I'm watching since look, I followed the instruction of mixing it up. You can't really create posts on YouTube because they don't want you to use your community page like that. So on Facebook, I create posts. I post my reels. I post to my story. I make sure I'm posting to my story on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. YouTube don't have no stories. So and I haven't put anything on the community page in a little minute either. So I need to go into my community page and engage there. So that's what I do with YouTube. I make sure that I'm engaging on my community page in addition to posting my videos. But I also make sure that I'm not just posting 1-minute reels. I do go in and try to post some content that's a little bit longer than 1 minute. I know that the statistics are saying that people's attention spans are not much longer than a minute long, but I choose to believe that that's not the case. And y'all, thank y'all. And I'm gonna say this to YouTube. Well, Facebook, YouTube and Facebook, that video I posted today, YouTube and Facebook are watching. Which one was it? It's one of the Mariko Brown videos. So thank y'all for looking at that. Thank y'all, YouTube, because y'all are definitely going and looking at the playlist that I have for Mariko Brown. His wife is following me now. She subscribed to my platform, and she has said that the trial is set for July. I probably said that on one of my other lives, but I just I'm gonna keep it fresh. I still have a few more little short videos to post from Mariko, probably about like 4 more from the video that I did on the last video that I did on him, though I posted 4 this morning. And I'm trying to figure out the one that it wasn't the one. Oh, in my Dr. Umar voice. In my Dr. Umar voice. You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? I just find all of it a little bit suspicious. I find it a little bit suspicious, and like I said, and I'll continue to say, I find the fact that we got placed in that vehicle not by chance. I don't believe that that was by chance. I believe that was rules by God. So y'all see that title, the principal thing, the paying business. The principal thing, the paying business. Y'all, When I tell y'all, Katt Williams, Katt Williams got the internet on fire. I said last night, Queen Amidala Shakur said, this is not Beyonce's internet no more. This internet belongs to Katt. Welcome, 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 y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. This internet belongs to Katt Williams. And all of the heads are rearing. He got everybody coming out. That dude got Ice Cube. He got Ludacris. He got Faison Love. He got Cedric the Entertainer, Ricky Smiley. I don't even know. Look, I'm going to watch the video. I'm going to watch the entire thing this weekend, but I don't know where Trick Daddy falls in the line. I don't know if Ice Cube is on it. Like, I don't even know what Ice Cube said. I haven't even watched Ice Cube. Gary Owens. He got him coming out, buddy. And just coming out and coming at him. Coming out and coming at him. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it now. But first, we are going to do the God, because that's what we do over here. Now, I came from Proverbs 5:15 today. Drink waters out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well. Let me tell y'all about, let me tell y'all. Because first thing I said right there was, mind your business. That's just reading it. I said, mind your business. But then I told y'all, my Quran verse I get from my Proverbs verse. But I didn't want to go look up mind your business in the Quran. Because that's the thought process that came to me when I read it. Drink waters out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well. If you're doing something out of thine own, it's yours. Don't be going over here to somebody else. Mind the business that pays you. Mind your business. But that's all. Just mind your business. In my Ashley voice. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to even look up as a keyword in the Quran. I couldn't imagine I'm supposed to look up cistern or well or anything like that. So I had to do something totally different today. I had to go in and start my study before I could figure out what I needed to look up in the Quran to get a verse. Because I was just like, well, we might not have no Quran verse. But the God was like, yeah, no, that's not how any of that works. So I went in and I studied, and then I got a Quran verse from my study. But first we're going to read Genesis. Is that a 16? Give me 1 minute. I think it is. I'm just trying to see what yesterday's was, because yesterday tell me what yeah, that's a 16. I told y'all, I can't always read my writing. I don't have doctor's chicken scratch, but when I am studying, sometimes it start off neat and then it just goes to a place. And it be neat for the most part. Everybody tell me I got neat handwriting, like for the most part, but once I start writing, everything just go everywhere. And I think I had wrote something underneath the 16. So I have Genesis 16:2, and Sarai, because she's still Sarai. They are still Sarai and Abram. And Sarai said unto Abram, behold, wait a minute. Okay. And Sarai said unto Abram, behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go into my maid, that it may be, excuse me, what did I write? Where's my Bible? I don't even feel like getting Hold up, y'all, because I cannot with that. I gotta know what I wrote. I gotta know what I wrote. Look. Queen Amidala Shakur said it's Mercury retrograde, because it is still going on. It's just not in Capricorn anymore, if I'm not mistaken. She was like, I had a whole lot of mishaps, and I said that I had some mishaps. I didn't know why until I went in and studied the retrograde. Genesis 16:2. And Sarai said unto Abraham, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. Oh, that's what it says. It's a it after that. And I was like, okay. It may be that I may obtain children. Why do it say that like that though? Go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. Yeah. And Abraham hearkened to the voice of Sarai. I'm going to read that again so I can read it like I got good sense, since I know that that is correct what I wrote. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abraham hearkened unto the voice of Sarai. Hearken. You know, God be telling us to hearken to his voice. Not really nobody else's voice. God tell us to hearken to his voice. But Abraham hearkened to Sarai's voice. We're going to talk about that. Because I've been saying it for years. And today I said, God, I've never studied this verse. I've brought every verse around it so far. Never studied this one. So we're going to talk about it. Because I've been saying it and saying it and saying it. First Maccabees. What the? Oh my God. And I can't look this one up. All I can do is tell you the chapter is going to be 12. I think it's somewhere near the top too. It's one of the beginning verses. First Maccabees 12 and whatever verse that I did not write. Oh, retrograding over here, Mercury. But when the adversaries heard that Jonathan and his men were ready for battle, they feared and trembled in their hearts, and they kindled fires in their camps. And the Quran verse, Surah El-Rad, there are guardians over everyone, both before him and behind him, who guard him, but Allah commands. Verily, Allah does not change a people's condition unless they change their inner selves. Allah does not change a people's condition unless they change their inner self, unless they help themselves. I can't help you if you don't want to help yourself. I can't care more about you, and that is true for God too. And God love us. God can't love us to death, because God is neither dead or alive. God is spirit. But God loves us that much. That much. But God is not going to make us be something that we don't desire to be, or want something that we don't desire to want within ourselves. God is not going to drop down, nor is God going to send Jesus down to poof and magic you into whatever it is that you feel like you need to be or want to be. No, that's not how any of this works. That's not how any of this works. Sorry. I'm sorry. Not sorry, really. It's not how any of this works. You must work. But I tell you what, God, but I tell you what you can't do. You can't stop God's punishment. God wants to punish. God gonna punish. Yeah. God won't punish. God gonna punish. So when we talking about drinking waters out of your own cistern, it was speaking about a wife. Now, it didn't only just speak about a wife. It spoke about it in reference to Judah being referred to as water, Jacob and Israel, Judah in Isaiah 48 and 1, Jacob and Israel is the same person in Numbers 24 and 7. So there were other things that this water could could represent as well. But the main thing that each commentary had in common was that of the wife. Said the wife of choice. You know, the one that finds a wife finds a good thing. You choose your wife. You a choice wife is okay. Let me say this. It says that drinking carries the satisfying of a natural want. You know, you gotta quench your thirst. Water is generally gonna quench your thirst. And water, I love water. A lot of people don't love water, but nothing, it's not a Dr. Pepper, it's not a tea, it's not a Gatorade, it's not a nothing, because this was here before it all. That's where the cisterns and wells, those were biblical. They had water. They didn't have no Gatorades or nothing like that. Water. It's nice and refreshing. If you don't have enough water in your body's going to tell your lips are going to be all white and your skin going to be all dry and not glowing, and just, oh, your urine is going to be yellow and stinky, like really, really dark yellow and stinky, like water. You want it. You need it. You treasure it. If you know what's good for you. That's what this cistern is referring to this wife as. Says Sarah, was spoken of in this position, and this is Proverbs. So we can really talk about Sarah, but they're using Sarah as the example for this wife, because for the most part, Sarah's 1%, they're gonna call it evil in here. Welcome, 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 y'all. They're gonna call it evil in here. But I won't say that it's like, but that depends on who you would ask. You know, I talk about Kalila up here, excuse me, y'all. I talk about Kalila up here. And off the People's Court, when Judge Millian told her, I see all of your good. She was a Christian. She was church focused. She was very, very church focused. But there is some folk that is church folk. God know I had some church folk in me. God does not like religion. That's the church focusedness. That's what God doesn't like. That it says something about it, I think. Did I write that part down? But Judge Millian said, I see all your good. But that 1% of evil, which is going to call Sarah in here, is what people are going to see. And I say that they may not see it in Sarah because the people just going to look at Sarah as like, she thought she couldn't have no babies. That don't got nothing to do with the promise. That God knew what God was doing. God knew what God was doing. But this wife is also compared, is using Sarah as reference. It is meant to enhance the wife's value. It indicates estimation in which she should be held. Your wife should be held at a high standard. Your wife, if you're finding a wife and you're finding a good thing, and wife, don't. Because we're going to talk about Sarah. We're going to talk about Sarah. Right now, we're talking about the one who has you and who has chosen you and who is supposed to be treating you like you that great. Because I can't say that is always the case. So a cistern or a well was one of the most valued possessions and adjuncts of an Eastern house. You needed it. How was you going to do anything? You can't cook without water. You can't bathe without water. You can't eat without water because you can't cook it unless you got something raw. Can't live but so long without it. even if you don't drink water, when you're drinking all other kinds of mess that you just should be putting water in your body as well, anything liquid has water in it. So that's why you're living if you don't drink water, because you're drinking liquid. But water is prevalent. And like that cistern and that well was the most one of the most valuable things, so should your wife. But if your wife is going to be one of the most valuable things, one thing for sure and two things for certain, you can't be around here choosing wives off these old shallow, what's the word? I always forget a word. Oh, that just came on. Shallow, expectations. Because when you take that process lightly, you kind of get what you ask for. If your wife just has to be an arm piece like eye candy, and you haven't thought about anything deeper than your wife being eye candy, because in order for it to be one of the most valued things, there has to be a reason there for that value. And I'm not saying it's not somebody for a shallow person, but if you are not a shallow person and you go out and you get a shallow person as your mate, are you going to be getting the most valued possession? You have to ponder on these things. Remember, we talked about that pondering. And look, as I was, because we gonna do this a little different. Because I was watching a Storm Monroe while I was going in and doing my study. I had already done all my reading while I was going in and doing my study. And he was talking to Rearin's wife. Y'all might not know who Rearin is. Rearin come from What's Happening. So he was talking to, I'm not thinking because she said it. Her name is Essie Berry, and Rearin's real name was Fred Berry. And I'm believing that she is the person who Tasha K interviewed when she was coming for Steve. I know she interviewed Marjorie's ex. I'm thinking she interviewed Essie Berry after that. I haven't really studied up on Essie Berry. I just watched the Storm Monroe, but I know her and Steve got issues. And I think, maybe she interviewed her in reference to Mary, the ex, because she was talking a lot about Mary and the things that, look, before I say this, I'm gonna say this before I forget, because I'm going to look it up. Something about Steve's bogus divorce or something like that. She's saying that technically, legally, Steve is still married. Allegedly, she's saying legally Steve is still married to to Mary, because there were assets that were supposed to be broken up before he got married to somebody else, and he didn't. He did not break those assets up. So she's saying that Steve Harvey is still married to his first wife. Allegedly. I pulled up the website that she's sending us to do the research. It's something about his hoax divorce or something to that. I think she said the Smoking Gun. It's the smokinggun.com. thesmokinggun.com. I put that in and put Steve Harvey in beside it to make sure it was bringing up what I needed it to bring up. I'm going to read up on it this weekend and see about it. But I said that because when it's talking about the cistern being one of the most valued things back then, the cistern and the well, and it's speaking about your wife should be compared to that cistern and that well, Essie was talking about Katt Williams. Essie is in love with Katt Williams, I guess. I'm thinking that before Fred Berry passed away, they were separated, and I don't know if KATT approached her, she approached KATT. But it sounds like they were trying to get together, or he was trying to get with her, or something to that effect. And because she was married, she did not want to, even though she was separated, she didn't want to do that. So now Fred is gone, and I don't know what's going on with her and Katt Williams. I don't know. But what she said, because her and Storm was talking about his character, because I'm going to go on here and start talking then, because I'm finna go under this. In my opinion, Katt Williams is the funniest one out of anybody that I called out that's a comedian. Some of those comedians on the top 10 are not funny. He said if you somebody that is on that list and you are not funny, there are reasons why. But they were talking about here how he was as far as with women, and she began to talk about his character, and she was like he was just very, very I forget what she said, but basically once she got finished talking about his character, I was like, I could get that from Katt Williams. And Storm was like, that's what he has heard other people say. Like he'll come out of his pocket, like he'll do things for people, whether it's a woman that he's seeing romantically or not. He's big-hearted. He's just fun to be around. He acts like he wants to be around you when he's around you, like he's compassionate. Things that you just, a name of things in men, because sometimes men think that that's not. Storm Monroe thinks that don't know men like women. He said it sounds like Katt Williams likes the presence of women. He said he seems like one of the last dudes that like women. He said he seems like a dude that would still court a woman. I was like, okay, I can get with that. I can get with that. He was talking about, because when he started talking about him paying bills for people and stuff like that, she was like, well, I'm on trying to get his money like rose gold. Like I don't think that Storm was saying that to try and be disrespectful or anything. I don't think that it was all romantic when he was saying that he'll just come out of pocket and somebody needs some help. He coming out to pay that bill. He probably would have did some stuff like that for men too if they was his boys, you know what I'm saying, or in need. But they were talking about his character as far as women, because a lot of times women is treated like the wife, property. There's nothing here says that she should be treated like property. It says she should be highly valued. Now this made it a little more personal to the person. This is what made me go look up what I looked up in the Quran. This commentary. This commentary is called the Biblical Illustrator. When I tell you, oh my God, the Biblical Illustrator can sometimes be like a Quran verse when it's breaking down commentary. It be so, but God got it coming all together. God got it coming all together, because I read my whole. Did I read the whole? I did. I read the whole Maccabees, I think. I don't know. Today was a day, y'all. It wasn't even a bad day. But yes, this one says, do not live on others' drawings. Didn't I say? Stay over here with yours. Do not live on others' drawings. Honor your own nature. Increase your own resources. You get out there and do the work. The business that pays you, the principal thing, the business that pays you. Wisdom is the principal thing. We're going to talk about that too. I think I wrote that down. Contribute to the good of the universe. Contribute to the good of the universe. That means that you're not supposed to be selfish and hoarding and all of that stuff like that, and greedy, all of that. No. Contribute to the good of the universe. Of the universe. Not just the United States. Not just your pockets. Not just your household. The universe. And it's not even talking about just money. Don't be throwing your trash out there. And and you want to be talking about global warming. You throw so much trash out the window, it's going into the waters when it rains. Ain't nowhere for it to go. And you got recycling bins, but you won't recycle or contribute to the good of the universe. Put good energy out there. Don't be a negative Nancy all the time. Or a petty Patty. Or a petty Paul. Or a negative Nate. Contribute to the good of the universe. The man who gives only what he has borrowed from others. How can you give what you borrowed anyway? The man who gives only what he has borrowed from others adds nothing to the common stock. So Shirley and Storm were talking about how common it is, and that's all that everybody has been saying. It's even Boo. Boo said it's common for people to steal your jokes, and I understand that. I understand that it's common, but just because something is common doesn't make it right, because behind common you put steal. Stealing's wrong. Stealing does not become right because you think you can do the joke better and make it make more money for you because you think you're the popular one. You might be the popular one, Steve and Cedric, but you're not too creative if you got to be stealing folks' jokes. Sips. Let me put my microphone down. Chai. I'll put that down. Cedric said he didn't steal Kat's joke, but Kat is adamant that he stole his joke. But there is no denying that he stole Bobanicious. He stole Bobanicious. I remember watching Bobanicious when Designing Women was coming on. I remember that episode, and I'm just like, whoa, because I really believe I remember when Cedric the Entertainer told the joke. You just don't be putting two and two together sometimes. I had a ball in my lock. You just don't be putting two and two together sometimes. So Cedric stole Bobanicious and Steve stole Mark Curry stuff. Whole show idea. And you heard Mark Curry. I watched a little clip of Mark Curry talking about that. So, and they the love of everybody's lives. Same way you give Sarah a pass for her evil. We just want to look past the things that people do, because God don't never need no help. So God said that was evil what you did, and all I've been saying is Sarah and Rebecca and Rachel stuck their nose in God's business. That's all I've been saying. They stuck their nose in God's business. You can't be sticking your nose in God's business. God don't need us help. Don't need it at all. That is the most high God, primal. One of the commentaries said primal. You don't know what primal is? The oldest, the original, the beginning. Primal. All wise. All knowing. Everywhere. Primal. Let every man become self-helpful, and the influence of those who arrogate, and that is claim without justification, lordship over the faith of others, will soon die out. If you are helping yourself, then people that are trying to take your stuff without justification can't do it. And I will say that. Let me work this out in Kat's favor. They stole his jokes, but they still couldn't be funnier than him. None of them. The only one that was possibly just as funny as Kat is no longer here. Bernie Mac. That's the only one. The onlyest one. Period. They stole his jokes, but they could not have lordship over his faith, because he knew what he had. He knew what he possessed. And let me do you one better. I'm going to go ahead and insert this here because Boo been saying it. Boo has said it about Tupac. Boo said about the folks that, you know, but let me tell you what I'm about to say does for me. It keeps me in a realistic place. It keeps me in a place that won't allow me to be delusional, because a lot of people be delusional. Y'all be around this joker acting like y'all know these stars and celebrities inside and out and know what they would do and know what they wouldn't do and know how their character is. When a lot of this is about the sacrifices that you will make for the love of money. People will steal from their brother, from the love of money. People will rob their own mother. You don't know these celebrities. You don't know what they'll do. So Boo had to tell me, yeah, I believe KATT probably walked through. No, she ain't even say probably. She said if you go into Hollywood, or Hollyweird as everybody out here is calling it, if you go into Hollywood, you're going to make a sacrifice. So she does believe that KATT sacrificed something. And so what I said is, she came out with it before I can get it out. But I was thinking the entire time, if he did sacrifice something, at some point he said he was standing on his integrity and he wasn't going to do it anymore. And that's when you seen everything start taking a left. But it ain't take none of his oomph away. It ain't take none of his oomph away. But she believes that Katt Williams sacrificed. She believes that Tupac sacrificed, the people that you think probably would have, because we all have an idea of the people we think probably was down with the get downs. But we all have our opinions, and that is her opinion. And mine was, because she said it while I was thinking it. The lesser, we always talking about the lesser of two evils. You know that what they be saying about the president now and the president then. People think that this president now is the lesser of the two evils. They think that the president that hides his hand is the lesser of the two evils, not the one that showed you everything that he was. Not the one that showed you. And I have talked about that up here too. That one that hide the hand is the one you got to worry about. That biblical. Donald Trump show you him all day. So KATT Williams shows you him. Queen Amidala said it today. She said, I do not believe, she said it has been said, if I'm not mistaken, she said it has been said that the persona that Mr. Steve Harvey shows you is not the persona that he is. And that's cool, because a persona is just that. A persona is what you put on when you going out there to do business. I don't care if you're in the celebrity world or where you're at. When you leave out of your door, a lot of people put a mask on to go out there and do life. But when you take that mask off, if there's no good deeds, you remember yesterday I talked about if there ain't no good deeds. If there ain't no good deeds at the end, everybody that you oppressed, Mr. Harvey, if you're an oppressor, everybody that you oppress, you're going to wear every last one of their sins. And I know that you be doing Christian God things, so yeah. If you're out there oppressing Mr. Steve Harvey, every last one of the persons that you have oppressed, if you have done no good deeds, so if you ain't did no good deeds, you might want to get some good deeds in there. Because other than that, you could be wearing oils to sins. Oils of them. That's all. It says it presents a motive for thankfulness, for thankfully adoring the great creator for spiritual constitution. All that I said is, people be talking about the Constitution, and you go in the Constitution and they be saying that some people is only this much % of a human because they're not really humans, and all I was like is, oh God, Whew, glad I got a spiritual constitution I can take a look at, because I am so much more than human. I'm a spiritual being. You don't know now like me. You don't know now, Trick. You don't know now, Trick. You don't know now, Trick. You better go somewhere and sit down for KATT light you up. Woo! Oh, for KATT light you up, buddy. Let's see. Created for the spiritual constitution he has given us. We have resources, not of course independent of him, the primal fount of power. Primal. Our resources are not independent of him. They work through him. He has given us all that we need according to life and godliness. Heavenly and holy pleasures are also compared to this stream of running water. That's why I said it's not all about a wife, but it is some. The joy of the family, running waters of thine own well. You said you cannot expose your family to every passenger. You gotta build a fence around it. Your family ain't for everybody, basically what it's saying. Your family ain't for everybody. It's for you to enjoy your family and be careful who you allow around your family. Because everybody don't want to see your family prosper. Everybody, it's people you think is on your team that ain't on your team. We're going to talk about that. We gonna talk about it. 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 Let's see. This cistern, the waters in this cistern, it says, are so pure that it is easily tinged. Now we talking family. It's easily tinged by an unguarded word. So when you're not being careful about what you say, you just say it and think it's okay and think somebody posed a deal with how you say things. Look, I promise you I'll be talking to me first, and God told me that's not cool. Now, God ain't even just, God told me that's not cool. A soft answer turns away wrath. So I be trying to give soft answers. I'm a work in progress. I don't know that they always be soft. For the most part, I be trying to give soft answers because God said a soft answer turns away wrath. And an unguarded word can tinge the waters. Neglected thoughtfulness. You know, I said yesterday, we not just placed here to think, but to be thoughtful. Why you got a thinker if you're not going to be thoughtful? I don't know. Woo! Slovenly and careless ways. Mr. or Mrs. I got the spouse, and so now I can let myself go. Slovenly ways are your appearance. You're messy and you're dirty. You're scruffy. It's also careless in your actions. And not only is it careless in your action, because it says slovenly and careless ways. It be killing me when the God come in here and have to double it up. It means it's important. It's important for you not to be careless, because slovenly means careless, and then it says careless. Slovenly means excessively careless and casual in your actions. So basically it's saying don't be careless. Don't be careless. And don't be messy and dirty. Go clean yourself up. Go take a bath. Go take a shower. Cut your hair. Do your hair. Put on some clean clothes. Put on some lip gloss if you put on some Vaseline if you don't got no lip gloss, if you don't drink enough water to make your lips a little softer, or look a little softer. It's here. And I think that that was nice. And when you go take a bath, you just make sure you washing all of those crevices. Behind your yes, inside your yes. Ladies, if we gotta lift up, lift it up. Man, if you have to lift up, lift it up. Things can smell up underneath there if you don't lift it up. If you got any, go in there with your rag. Clean, not dirty. Don't let the enjoyment of home be a snare, however. You know, you get too comfortable and then you start getting indolent and selfish. God don't like that. Indolence is lazy. And that lazy and slovenly probably go hand in hand. So, yeah, you don't want to be lazy and slovenly. It said, take a wife and cleave to her and all the pleasures and comfort. And it was talking about in the marriage bed. Lawfully. Lawfully. Lawfully means if she does not want it, then it's not lawful. Lawfully means if it's illegal, then it's not lawful. But there's probably a caveat to that, because if it's illegal and you two agree and y'all are in your marriage bed, then I guess it becomes lawful. Because the marriage bed is undefiled. Marriage bed is undefiled. But that no, yeah, that means no even in marriage. That means no even in marriage. Yeah, that means no even in marriage. Says your own cistern, meaning your own wife, and but one. And but one. And when I tell you that I had no clue when I chose Proverbs that it was going to be talking about a wife. This is how the God be doing around here on Sylvie414. You guys, y'all best on the bandwagon, because the God doing a thing over here through the game. I did not know what, remember I told you, that's why I ain't choosing no Quran verse, because I ain't really, all I said was mind your business. I ain't know it was getting ready to refer to a wife. All I said I knew was that it meant mind your business. That's all. This looks like it means mind your business. Your wife is your business. Mind her. Only her. But one, it says. Your own wife and but one. They didn't need multiple cisterns and multiple wells. We used to have a well. I come from a time where we was on well water down there in North Carolina, and we only had one well. One well per house. Nah. It goes on to say that that's why Paul tells you to marry and not burn, because you ain't supposed to be out here doing things and stuff, and if you want to do things and stuff, you're supposed to go get you a spouse. And look, older people stick to that. The older people stick to that. Younger folks, one thing for sure and two things for certain, you can't do God the way that you want to do God. If you think that you can do, and I would challenge that belief in whether it is the Bible, the Quran, or the Apocrypha. You cannot do God the way that you choose to do God. If you're doing God the way that you choose to do God, you are walking in your emotions. If you feel like you can flip these books to make them mean what you want them to mean, how you want them to mean it, that's why studying to show yourself approved is a good thing. Even if everybody got a different perception, it shouldn't be so different that it is totally opposite, because most of the commentary that I go into, and sometimes I will go through several, when I say several, probably about 8. But I study out of 4 of them regularly. and they always hit kind of close to what I perceived when I read the verse. So anybody that's saying you get your own perception and you just think that that's a flag, a green light for you to just go around here. That what Queen Amidala said about, because who was she talking about? She wasn't talking about TD Jakes, because she brought TD Jakes into it. Because somebody else did say, who was it? All I gotta do is ask God to forgive me. I want to say I talked about it the next time when it wasn't TD Jakes. I don't remember who it was. I'm not getting ready to wreck my brain, but I'll say it again. If you think that you can go out there, Queen Amidala might have just been talking about it in general, because I know that it was the pastor on We the People. If you think that you can go out here and make a mockery of God's church, God's word, God's relationship with you, and just keep saying, Lord, forgive me, woe to you. God will G414 you. Now you go look it up. Make sure you put in Strong's, because if you don't put in Strong's, ain't no telling what's gonna come up when you put G414 into Google. But yeah, keep thinking you can play with God. See, don't you get G414? Ask Sodom and Gomorrah about the mighty blast. Check it out in the Quran. Research the mighty blast in the Quran. You're gonna find out about Iblis and Lot and Abraham and the mighty blast. Let's see. Said man should be content with his own wife and not steal waters out of another cistern. Don't be going over there to somebody else's wife, because that'll get you dead. God said. Unalived. Pow, pow. You're gone. Stay out of the mother cisterns. Now we move to Genesis 12 and 2. Because that old Sarai. Now, God gave a promise. Laid Abraham down in old deep sleep like Adam. Told him how to sacrifice. Told him what the promise was about a little bit. I can't tell you everything, because it's probably going to blow your mind if I tell you everything that's going to happen on the way to the promise. But I'm giving you a promise. I promise, if I promise you something, I got it all planned out. How much more thee, God? If I promise you something, I have it all planned out. How much more thee, God? God made that promise with Abraham and Miss Wifey. Say, well, geez Louise, I know God promised my husband that we was going to have a baby. But did God know what God was talking about? Because do God know how old I am? And I'm all dried up. The Lord hath restrained me from bearing. Did the doctor tell her that the Lord restrained her? Did God tell her that the Lord restrained her? Who told her? I think she just thought she was too old to have a baby because she had not had now yet. But when God made that promise, Sarah said, well, let me get around here and get to getting then. I know I'm too old, so I got to figure out how we gonna get this baby. I gotta figure it out. I know God promised you, but I gotta do it. Because if I don't do it, how is it gonna get done? Because the Lord hath restrained me. You know that the Lord gave you a promise, but what you don't know is that the Lord restrained you. Where did it say that at? Who told you? that you were restrained. You just thought you was too old, like I said, to have a baby. Because Abraham even thought he was too old. So how much more his wife that he was supposed to get pregnant? So Sarah has Hagar, and Sarah got Hagar because they be doing some things and some stuff. Look at here, Christians. Where's my water? Look at here, Christians. We are not always the greatest cup of tea. We do things and stuff. And I done said, 2 of God's children almost got kings killed because they was doing things and stuff. Pharaoh told Abraham, get your wife and get up out of here because you're trying to get me killed, dude. Telling me this your sister. I'm trying to make this woman my wife and you're telling me it's your sister. How dare you? Get her and get up out of here and take Hagar. He apologized to Sarah by giving her Hagar. Is what this commentary said. And I didn't know. I didn't know. And the reason that, because they said it's the commentary says that what was done, what Sarah did in and of itself wasn't evil, because it is what women who were barren did. It wasn't even considered infidelity for the man. I can't have a baby. This is my servant. Take her as your wife and have a baby, and then I take the baby. The Handmaid's Tales. Yeah, there is seasons of that was a bit much. That was a bit much for me, but I do intend to go back and watch it again. But ooh, The Handmaid's Tale was deep, and I just only got through season 1. But yeah, Hagar was her handmaid. And all I put up underneath there was Abraham had a promise. Abraham had a promise. There was nothing that needed to be done because God said, I got this. And when God says, I got this, and we intervene, how do we rationalize that as being right? Now, God allowed it. Ishmael had to get here. God allowed it. But God did not ordain it. God did not tell Abraham to go and lay with Hagar. God said, I am going to make sure that you have a seed from your household, your seed, and your wife's, not your handmaids. It says to restrain it, another, in the commentary that I was looking at, the pulpit commentary, it gives other, like the Vulgate and the Septuagint, and it tells you how these things are said in those, I think they're books. So it says that restrain us also means shut me up, like God shut up her womb. And as I was writing that down, as I was writing this down about how Sarah's doing, Miss Essie was telling Storm that what God has for you, no man can take away. And no man can interject on it either. Man meaning man, woman, or child. No man should want to. And if God has given us a promise, it's up to us to make sure that we are not allowing someone else, even someone that loves us, to interject or interfere on the promise that God got for us. No bueno. At all. It said that Sarah's desire was not prompted by natural impulse, but the zeal of faith, which made her wish to secure the promised benediction. So she wasn't out there just like, oh my God, I just want to go have a baby. Abraham wasn't going to Hagar because he was lusting in his flesh. They believed that this is what needed to be done to get the promise that God had for them. It says, the faith of both were defective. Defective means broke. Broken. Don't work right. It won't work, and the faith won't faithin' right. They wanted to be the means to the end. If we're the means to the end, how doth God get the glory? How? Because we're going to be able to say we did that. God wants, without a shadow of a doubt, to be able to say, I did that. Making ways out of no way. I don't know, 100-year-olds had no babies. And Sarah was close enough to 100 to be called 100. Picture Bernice having had a baby before she left here. Oh my God. Woo, buddy. Oh my God. I would have had an aunt or uncle that would have been so much younger than me. Oh my God. Oh, that just made my stomach turn. Let me stop talking. Woo. And I said, they ain't believe God could make old folks pregnant. God could make anybody, anything. Oh my God. So they had no human hope in the promise. They conformed to the common customs of the country. And yesterday's study said that we not supposed to be doing that. You're not just supposed to be following, because I talked about Christmas. And what if God, we go with what we learned, but what if God is not pleased? What if God ain't pleased? We just gonna keep saying, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay that they say the New Year's is on January the 1st. It's okay. It's okay to celebrate Jesus' birthday then. Jesus could be lonely on his real birthday. It's okay. Might not be okay with thee, God. It says, all attempts to be beforehand with providence imply an infirmity of faith. Goodness gracious, it is sick and broken. To be beforehand means to do it yourself instead of let God do it. Your faith is sick and your faith is broken. Sick and broken faith. Woo, buddy. It's signs of impatience. Look, I tell people all the time that when I praise God when I be in the car with somebody who is raging on the road, because I know that was once me. I used to rage on the road, buddy. One thing for sure and two things for certain, I raged on the road every chance I got. And when I began to notice that God was dealing with me in the area of patience, it was there that I was affected positively first. And I'll do you one better. God hasn't even quite calmed all of the heat that comes, because I can be in that car with somebody and still get a little. I do not respond. I ponder on that thing, because it's not a battle that I choose to choose, especially if I'm not driving. But not even it's because I do it. I don't do it even the times that I do drive. I don't really drive right now because I'm not licensed. But even when I do drive, it is not our duty to aid God in accomplishing his promises. The God does not need your help. Let me say it again for the folk in the back. The God does not need your help. One thing for sure and two things for certain. Almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing, all everywhere. Why would an entity like that need the help of but a human? Let's see. It says religion in this, when we begin to do things that God don't need our help for, it says religion hereby degenerates into fanaticism. You know, they got that website, this fanatics.com and everything. Fanatic man be at all of the Diddy parties too. He be at the Diddy party. He the one that threw the white party. The fanatics man, he threw the white party. You know, the white, all white party. And I think everybody was there. I think Jay-Z and Beyonce was there too. Everybody was at that party. IJS. Fanaticism. Fanatic is not a good word. Fanatic is almost, can go hand in hand with idol. If you're a fanatic over something, you crazy about that thing. If you crazy about that thing, even if you, I told you, crazy about God, you liable to do something religiously. And you supposed to love God with all of your heart, mind, and your soul. But when you become fanatic about something, it does not go well. You best go look that word up. Period. It says it shows of want of confidence in his power. A show of want means that you lack confidence. This is the old King James version of the Bible. And I think a lot of these commentaries do King James type lingo. So a want of confidence in his power. You don't have no confidence in God's power. Sarah did not have confidence in God's power. Sarah needed to do it on her own. And so she went and told her husband. And her husband hearkened into her voice. That's all. It says instead of resisting, trying to get to God's promise on his own, he hearkened to her voice. He listened to the reasoning of expediency. Let's do this fast. Let's pop it in the microwave. Because I'm getting old quick. I'm getting older by the day. Come on, go on to that maid and make her your wife and lay on down in the bed so y'all can get a baby. And my thing is, what was y'all gonna do after y'all got the baby? You don't even know what the promise, how the promise was gonna go. What were you going to do after you got the baby? We know what happened. We know what happened, but what was y'all thought process? Did y'all ponder on that, or y'all just said, "Let's go get the baby because I'm getting older"? Doesn't matter if you were older and older, because it don't make sense to me as I'm talking. If you're saying, "Let's go have this baby because I'm getting older and older," then that means that you don't believe that you were supposed to create the seed. So then why did you have to go rush and create a seed? I'm just asking. So I don't know. Sarah. Whew. Be careful before acting on the suggestions of anyone not as advanced as we are in the divine life. We may seem right. What may seem right to them may be terribly wrong for us. And saying advanced is not to say that Sarah did not have her own relationship with God, but that promise was given to Abraham. So how does God say something to you and then you allow your wife to interject on what God has said. You have thus made your wife the idol. Catch it? Please and thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. Miss Essie said, be careful who you're dealing with. When I tell you she was speaking to me all the way through, got to be careful who you're dealing with, even when you're dealing with loved ones. Told you the commentary said that what Sarah did was evil. Says she is one of many who've been sacrificed to the whim of passion, expediency, or selfishness of men. And that would be man, woman, or child that we're speaking here. Her emotions got to her. She ain't think she was going to be able to have this baby. So she like, come on, Abraham. And like I said, the more I say it, you still ain't having the baby. You still getting old. You just trying to do something you ain't had no business doing. Interfering. Uh-oh. Said God works by faith where man works by works. And faith without works is dead. But when it comes to God, God don't need you working, is all that that's saying. God knew the promise that it had for Abraham and Sarah, and God did not need any of their works to be interjected into it. God, Abraham didn't have to work. God done blessed Abraham so much just for getting up and going. Abraham didn't really work when God gave him the instruction to leave. You are a Chaldees. He just went. It said that he had been in Canaan for 10 years. It starts off the chapter. He had been in Canaan with God for 10 years, not letting his wife talk in his ear. And was blessed exceeding abundantly above all that he could ask or think. It says the latter is illicit, the former is success. That natural means that work, illicit when it comes to a promise of God. No bueno. So you should not be seeking temporal prosperity by covetous or injustice and making haste to be rich. You should not be over there wanting so bad what your neighbor got that you're envious. You should not be over there doing criminal things, thievery and stuff to make yourself rich. Because if, oh, let's go back to stealing them jokes. Because we talking about a baby that we thought was for a promise. And they called it evil. Injustice. This is talking about Sarah. Injustice. Covetous. Y'all coveted other people's jokes because y'all felt like y'all could do them funnier and make them more popular. Then you took them. You coveted it first and then you took it. That was the injustice. in order to make haste to be rich. You know, Steve told Monica was, you know, gotta be about that money, honey. Don't worry about your integrity. And whew, buddy. We all, nobody on this earth is perfect. But there are people that do imperfect things that still walk in integrity. It is when your life is geared toward doing imperfect things all the time, evil things all the time. It says some have been tempted to slay self or those they love in the midst of terrible affliction to hasten their admission to glory. And Sarah wasn't out there just trying to slay Abraham. She was trying to get to a promise. But best believe it is people that love you that don't love you as much as they love getting rich and getting to the bag. and they will slay you. The opposite of haste is patience. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Many seek, and I didn't even know where this came in at, but I said, okay, God, I'm going to write this down and I'm going to talk about it too. Many seek to Christianize the world by the sword, by pandering to human ignorance and superstition, or indulging the lusts and the passions of men. We must be faithful to the principle. The principal thing is wisdom. Get wisdom. But in all you're getting, get understanding. The principal thing. We must be faithful to the principle. Leave the results to God. You're not supposed to be out there cleaning fish, peoples. You're not even supposed to be out there Bible thumping. The Quran just said that. You're not supposed to force religion. It said you're not even supposed to force it on children. We around here thinking we right. And we a whole hot mess on the inside and just trying to get more and more people to be religious. Whoa. G414. G414 in Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. More bearable, more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah. Stop trying to force your God on folk. Let your light shine. And let them make the choice. And let God handle the results. The principle. Jesus didn't go around trying to force God on people. People flocked to Jesus. Let's see. It says the sense of such wants may put the soul upon unlawful means to have their desires of a seed. I have watched some Lifetime movies about women that couldn't have babies. Things they did to get them. You know, those resources apart from the Most High that I read about earlier. You know, the spiritual constitution. But those resources are not independent from the Most High. Because when you start trying to do things independent from the Most High, that's where all unlawful means may come into it. It says flesh don't want to wait on God's promise. The flesh ain't never going to want to wait. The flesh want to do what the flesh wants to do. Temptation may carry saints not only to the motion, but the action of evil. May make you do evil for ends. What? Oh, it may make you do evil for ends seeming good. It seemed good to Sarah. Go take my handmaid as a wife. It seemed good. It seemed like it was lining up with the promise. This is what Miss Essie said. Miss Essie said, all these people in Hollywood, because they're actors. This is I ain't say because they're actors, she did. All these people in Hollywood, because they're actors, deceivers, and will do anything to gain what they need to gain. She was talking about T.D. Jakes, because T.D. Jakes counseled counseled Mary and Steve while they were going through, and then turned around and married him and Marjorie, his mistress. If you got something to say to me about that, holler at The God about how The God feel about that. All the people in Hollywood are actors and deceivers. Bishop Jakes is in Hollywood. You know he got movies and stuff, right? He's in Hollywood. Now, I'm not saying he has done anything criminal. I am saying we don't know these people. If we're going to pray for them, but we cannot live in a delusion that because somebody is a pastor that they can do no wrong. And because somebody is a pastor that everybody likes, that make it harder for you to think that they can do some wrong, because everybody loves T.D. Jakes. Better go talk to God. Best go talk to God. Let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. And all I thought about when I read that is Ty Tribbett. Because that man, every song that he ever writes comes from the scripture. He don't just write gospel music. He's a psalmist. He's scriptural. So that's in one of his songs. And a man's worst foes may be those of his own household. That's your wife. You love her dearly. You want to believe that she's leading you down, because a sanctified wife sanctifies the husband. I can't believe that. I can't imagine that's something new. But men, we can't keep making excuses for the fact that we allow our wives to interject in our relationship with the God, Adam. Because y'all will put that all on Eve when everybody got punished in that situation, and he got punished the word. Because he was the man. At the very time Abram was standing so high because of all the blessings, God had just blessed him because he was having a hard time with losing his nephew, having to separate from his nephew. So he was being blessed all the way around, all the whole time. And then in that instant, he was sitting high, and then in that instance, he hearkened into her voice. Fall. She wasn't God's promise. What she had was not God's promise. That was her way, Sarah's way. She made the proposal, and her husband took it in. God was like, yeah, no, that ain't how that supposed to work. The commentary called her unbelief carnal, foolish, and as fruitful of domestic misery as could be devised. Domestic misery. It created chaos because you began to hate the woman. And I talked about that. When Hagar left that place, God ain't tell Hagar to go back because you was wrong. God told Hagar to go back because I still got a promise. And now you're in the midst of it. So be easy, baby. Y'all gonna be blessed. But I need you to go back right now. All of that came because Sarah intervened. You gonna tell your man to go take this woman as a wife, and all I said the last time, Abraham probably loved Hagar a little more than Sarah would have cared for him to. And she wasn't feeling that because she began to get, you were supposed to be keeping the baby. You told Abraham to get rid of them both. Evil counsel That's what the commentary said. It was evil counsel and Abraham hearkened. Says it was a double sin. It was a sin of distrust. You ain't trust God and you deviated from the plan. Distrust and deviation, buddy. You DD'd on that jank. You deviated from the original law of marriage, and which seems to have opened a door for polygamy. Y'all best go blame Sarah. Sarah did it. Sarah did it. Gill's commentary says Abraham hearkened without counseling God. It says it was agreeable to their flesh. Agreeable to their flesh. The wrong thing for the right reason is what I put. They were doing the wrong thing for the right reason. They were promised a seed and they felt like they were supposed to go and make this thing happen. Like I said, what was y'all gonna do after y'all had the seed? You're gonna be like, okay, God, we got the baby now. The rest of your promise, even though we don't know really what the promise is, but here, now you can go do the rest of your promise. Okay. Oh my goodness, been up here for a little bit. We almost finished now. I'm finished the court part. All right, so I'm watching Tasha K. I watched a little Tasha K be running these little clips on Instagram, and sometimes they just So this one was the red flag that low key turns you on. And this chick says that she loves a ninja that cheats. And now I'm quoting her every word. I'm just going to go ahead and quote her every word. She loves a ninja that cheats, gives us a reason to, gives us a reason to argue. No, she didn't say gives us. She said give us a reason to argue. Bring home some hoes. Let's have a threesome. Give me something exciting. So you cheat, come my way. If you a cheater, come my way. And all that I could muster up was woo. Woo. If you like it, I love it, baby. If that's what you want in life. But how do you feel when you lay down and go to sleep? Because I cannot believe that you feel excited about life when you lay down and go to sleep. That was the very most ignorant thing that I have ever heard in life, when you have women out here trying heavily not to be cheated on and you just want a cheater, which means that he probably ain't your man. Or you want your man to be a cheater? I think that's what she was saying. I apologize. She wants her man to be a cheater. If she built for it, cause what you gonna do when he start liking the other chick a little more? What you gonna do when your wild ain't wild enough for him? When your wilding out ain't, when the wild ain't out, and he got to go get something a little more wild. What you gonna do to me? And then there was the daddy on paternity court, because he was the daddy. But before he found out he was the daddy, he said that if he found out that he was the daddy, he did not want her to have his name. So Lauren Lake was like, it sounds like you're saying that she's not good enough to have your name. He was like, well, no, I'm not saying that. And she was like, well, it sounds like that's what you're saying. So what you saying? He said, well, yeah, I guess I am saying that. This is an adult. Wasn't a baby that wasn't there. This is an adult that had to listen to somebody. Look, God told me don't make it a black thing. One thing for sure and two things for certain. I be seeing a whole lot of people that don't be black on these paternity courts. And they were not. Got to do better. Men and women have to do better. You're out here getting vibed all up and going out here laying down and having these babies with people that you don't even like. Didn't I just say Miss Essie and Storm said Cat Williams liked women and women like him? They like each other. Sex is a natural thing. But anybody is going to want to do that. So to have someone that likes and loves and wants to be in your presence, because when we don't, then we have babies that 20 years down the line have to hear you say, I don't want her to have my last name. She ain't good enough. What does that mean? You cannot continue to talk about the man that you choose as if he is no good. Willie D was talking about that. Talk about the woman that you choose as if she is no good. And you got babies out here. Women steady hating on men all day long, and you got a son, and he hearing you hate. You got a daughter, and every woman that come in your vicinity, she got to be around. Or your son. No other people should just be around anybody's children. Not if you bouncing through them like that. I don't care if you're a woman or a man. Keep them away from your babies because you don't know them well enough. If you're bouncing around like that, you dang sure don't know nobody. Think about it before you lay down and have these babies. Or get pregnant with these babies and then be trying to go to the eat free down there in front of the clinic. Okay. So there is, and I didn't do the research off of this, so I'm basically telling y'all what Willie D said, and that I didn't do the research, that Mercury retrograde, because I pulled it up. I promise you it's still there right now when I come up off of this live. There's a young lady in Atlanta, and Willie D is saying that at this point there's a rumor that she may be unalived. She may be unalived, but she just put her boyfriend, all of his Navy Federal information on Twitter, and people began to use it to shop. It is said, Willie D is saying that the rumor, allegedly, the unaliving is a rumor as well, but the rumor as to why she did it is because she and her boyfriend both were scam artists, and he was attempting to run off with the money. And so she put all of his information online. And Willie D says that the feds are on her tail. It was Navy Federal. I mean, any bank, but Navy Federal is a credit union. They're a little different than banks. Then it's, you know, it's the military involved with that government institution. Like it's a little, all banks are federal institutions, but Navy Federal is a credit union and it's a military establishment. And she felt the need to just walk like that because she was emotional. That was emotional. That was emotional. You did not ponder your path before you did that, baby. You did not ponder your path. And I pray that it's just a rumor, the latter part, about the unaliving. But Willie D said if she is still alive, she going to grown-up jail, adult jail, what he said. Willie D said she going to do adult jail. She said somebody in his chat was saying it makes it look bad on black women. I am so individual that I don't take that in to me because you're going to judge me based on me. You're going to judge me based on me anytime I walk into your presence. Period. So I don't like when that's the rap because it's not the rap anywhere else. It's only the rap in the black community. You're not judging everybody of every other race for the things that their people do. So, yeah. But he even said that it bothers him when skin folk do it, because all skin folk ain't kin folk. It bothers him when skin folk take on that same persona. Because that means that you look bad. If you this color and you talking about she making look bad, then you look bad. She ain't make me look bad. I don't steal. I don't steal or scam. And Lord, help that to stay the truth. Help that to stay the truth, Lord. Willie D said, Willie D said, it is a lot of slow people out here with 3, 4, and 5 degrees. Because the peoples with the money just always think they is just smarter. That's what that man said on Law and Order. He said, oh, I didn't see. He said something about, I didn't know y'all thought I was smarter, more smart, or something to that effect. And the other detective was like, or more vain, because vanity will think that it's very intelligent. Yeah, arrogance. Vanity and arrogance go hand in hand, and it will think that it's intelligent when it's just arrogant and vain and really unintelligent. Yeah, yeah. Look, Storm said that Katt Williams interview single-handedly pushed Shannon Sharpe on the map. Now, let me tell you, the only reason that I know who Shannon Sharpe is or know anything about Shannon Sharpe is because I do these platforms. I know he was into sports, and I think he was like a sportscaster on some sports show. I think Shannon Sharpe wound up losing his job for something. I'm almost certain of it. He wound up losing his job with whatever sports entity he was with. And then he came over here, and now he do this Shay Shay's, I forget what the name of it is, but they talk like, because look, one thing for sure and two things for certain, all these cats that Katt was calling out, they've been, some of them been on the platform. I know Cedric the Entertainer was on the platform. I think Ricky Smiley was on the platform. None of them did what Katt Williams just did. Turned it into Katt Williams. He done took the internet away from Beyonce. He done took the internet away from Beyonce. They is just, and not only are they coming out of the woodworks, but they laying out their accolades. Faison came out here and laid out everybody else's accolades because he didn't have any of his own to lay out. Queen Amadada said it after I said it, because I listened to I didn't watch her say it until today. I listened to Faison's interview yesterday and was like, why he talking about everything everybody else did? I commented on it because he was on, I don't know if it was Vlad or the Art of Dialogue that Faison was on, talking about some Katt Williams overrated. I was like, why you mad? You mad because he got stand-ups and stuff? You mad because talking about some he ain't relevant, he ain't did nothing in 20 years. Every time I turn around, I hear Katt Williams' name. One thing for sure and two things for certain. Every time I turn around, I hear Katt Williams' name. He went to talking about talking about Richard Pryor's accolades and Bill Cosby's and all this stuff like that, but you ain't never talked about none of yours. Katt Williams got up there and talked about his accolades time after time. His 12 comedy shows compared to Cedric's 4 that didn't make it to Tubi or Netflix. But y'all kept trying to lay accolades down and lay your weight of your pockets down. You know, them 3, 4, 5 degrees some of y'all got. Slow people and stuff. You know, all of your this, that, and the other. And all I kept saying in everything. Now, Ludacris came out and Ludacris laid bars. Ludacris is just Ludacris. I have loved all of these cats at one particular time, and I don't particularly hate them now. I just, you grow, and you know, when you grow, you evolve sometimes. But one thing for sure and two things for certain, I never evolved from Katt, nor did I evolve from I watched the Bernie Mac show, and will, if it was coming on somewhere, I would still watch it. I watched the Bernie Mac show until I couldn't watch it no more. I love Bernie Mac, period. And I love Katt Williams. And all the people just want to try to make, they just coming at him. They coming at him. But you can't take them down. They coming at him. They coming at him, but you can't take him down. And the woman, I talked about that Wanda Smith. Ooh, I can't stand the old nasty woman. Especially when you try to do it like you nice. And Queen Amidala said, she was like, y'all, because somebody kept trying to defend her. Somebody was like, seemed like KATT is projecting. And Queen Amidala was like, projecting what? Like, what is he projecting and how is he projecting? She's like, she is dishing all this dirt. She was trying to dish dirt. She was like, you have to listen to her interviews. Say, when she have people up there that she like, she kiss their tail. When she have people up there she don't like, she do them like she tried to do Cat Williams. And then look, and Queen Amidala said, and when she couldn't get him, because she couldn't, when I tell you he was killing her with the eloquence, killing her with the regality, and when she couldn't get him, she started trying to emasculate him. She started calling him honey and girl and all of that stuff like that. Real ignorant. Real ignorant. And then went and got her husband on him. Because your feelings got hurt. Because he was sitting there. He didn't raise his voice. She kept telling him to calm down, and he was not. Look, she asked him what do he cook, because he is a single father of 7. She asked him what was he good at cooking, and as he was trying to give the explanation, she was cutting him off all the way, and he was saying, you're cutting me off. May I finish making my statement? Oh, it was so good. So good to the fact that I knew he got up under her skin. And she went and got her husband, and he came there with firearm in tow. Firearm in tow, because you can't take what you dish. Miss Wanda Smith, that why you don't got no job no more. Because you can't just be doing folk like that. You can't do that. That ain't nice. It's not ladylike. Go somewhere and sit down and take some lady lessons. Miss Essie said they mad because KATT was a young man coming up who was funnier than all of them put together. And I said, y'all had the name, but KATT was and is the king of comedy, buddy. Shoot. Look, y'all. This is basically more about pondering your path, paying attention to the business that pays you, staying in the realm of your home, minding your business when God is trying to do something. That ain't the business that pays you. Them adversaries, look, I ain't even talk about that. Them adversaries in First Maccabees, oh my God. I'm just going to say Jonathan wound up. Jonathan is unalive now. First Judas is gone, and now Jonathan is gone because he trusted. That's why Miss Laura said, be careful. Jonathan trusted. Jonathan came up there with 40,000 men. Jonathan had the kings running scared. The Maccabees boys had the kings running scared. Jonathan came up there with 40,000 men. And Demetrius, who didn't like him, who had done all that stuff, said, we ain't at war. Why you got all these men? And it already said prior up in the verse that he was trying to kill him. So he had already taken the Asian king out. And now he wanted to make sure that Jonathan couldn't come after him. Jonathan trusted him. And then he lost his life. And the Quran speaks for itself. Hello, beautiful. Self-help. We're going to go with that. If you're not going to do it for you, God is not going to do it for you. You must be willing to help yourself. Once you do that, then God going to step in and help you along the way. God has given us everything that we need according to life and godliness, beautiful. Use that. Sylvie love you. And she out.